We begin this morning with the devastating wildfires in Southern California as the death toll rises to 24. The Eden fire is now one of the deadliest in the state. Officials say it's currently 27% contained. While its spread has slowed, the fire has burned through more than 14,000 acres. The Palisades fire is only about 13% contained and has burned nearly 24,000 acres. It's still threatening residential areas. The Hearst fire is 89% contained, and the other two fires that broke out last week are thankfully 100% contained. But now officials are bracing for what could be, quote, explosive fire growth. Strong Santa Ana winds once again have returned to the area with gusts of up to 70 miles an hour. They're expected to last through Wednesday, prompting red flag warnings from the Ventura County coastline all the way to the Mexican border. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he thinks these wildfires will be one of the worst in state history. Newsom made the comment in an exclusive interview with NBC's Meet the Press. And it comes as firefighters complain some hydrants ran dry in the first several hours after the fires began, which Newsom says he's calling for an independent investigation to get to the bottom of that.
What the hell happened? What happened to the water system? Was it, and by the way, was it just overwhelmed? That you had so much that was used, we drew it down. Was it pipes? Was it electricity? It was a combination of pipes, electricities, and pumps. What was that drawdown? Impossible, because you lost 7,000+ structures right here anyway, and every single structure we lost had a pipe that was leaking, and we'd have lost that water pressure anyway. Did it contribute in any way to our inability to fight the fire, or were 99-mile-an-hour winds determinative, and there was really no firefight that could have been more meaningful? So all of us want to know those answers, and I just don't want to wait because people are asking me. I want to know those facts. I want them objectively determined, and that the chips fall where they may. This is not about finger pointing.
A lot of important questions still to be answered. Joining us now live from Pacific Palisades is NBC's Jay Gray. Jay, what are you seeing out there today?
Hey, Allie, yeah, and really you can't get the answer to those questions until you finish fighting this fire, and that's still a ways away. What we are seeing is utter devastation, some things that are just unimaginable. Look at this. This is one of the areas where it looks like there was a bombing here. It literally looks like a bomb went off. In other areas, there's just nothing left, no clue of what stood before the flames. And as you talk about, there's that growing potential now and concern about another firestorm here. The worst of the winds expected to kick up, according to forecasters, sometime this afternoon and continue through Wednesday. And that brings with it the potential to, again, fan some of the flames that are burning, to stoke these embers and spread these embers as well into other areas. And so there's a lot of worry, a lot of concern about that, and a lot of fear about what's going to happen as a result of those winds. Look, they've closed off this area. The Palisades obviously locked down, will continue to be, and others that are hardest hit. Just not safe in many of these areas, according to law enforcement. They had initially allowed people to come in, perhaps find something they could pull from some of the rubble, but now saying we can't do that with these winds beginning to swirl again, and we're not even going to consider it until sometime Thursday at the earliest. So that's the situation on the ground. We know that the National Guard is staked out here and across the region. We've seen troops moving in, 1,000 more deployed overnight. And then you've got law enforcement and firefighters constantly patrolling this area, looking for hot spots, dousing them where they find them, and again, preparing for what could be another severe wind event coming up, really starting this afternoon, Alan.
Jay, the people who are trying to get back in their homes, even if it just means being able to grab one or two things, what are they saying to you? I mean, we've seen just some really emotional interviews. Can you talk about those conversations that you're having?
So difficult, and a lot of people who have come in. We saw one man earlier who had worked at his dad's gas station. That gas station was burned to the ground. He was rummaging through, found a handful of quarters, and it reminded him of the times when, as a kid, he and his brother had worked at that gas station. So it's the smallest of things, the things that may seem insignificant, that people are pulling from just what is really just ash and twisted metal, and just finding something that triggers those memories. It's a blessing for many. but also a curse because it makes them realize just how devastating this damage is and how difficult it's going to be to come back.
NBC's Jay Gray, thank you for your reporting. And meanwhile, with the death toll rising, we're learning new details about some of the victims of the devastating fires burning across Los Angeles. NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin has more.
These are the faces of neighbors, family, and friends forever tied to the most destructive wildfire in Los Angeles County history. Anthony Mitchell, a father who stayed behind with his disabled son, Justin, refusing to let him die alone.
So before he hung up the phone, he said, "Baby, I gotta go. The fires that made it to my yard."
A sweet but stern 83-year-old Erlene Louise Kelly.
We didn't expect to lose her so tragically. And that's what hurts most.
Tell them it's not what happens to you in life.
It's what you do after that counts.
It was my baby, and he died needlessly.
Former child actor Rory Sykes, born blind, also had cerebral palsy.
He said, "Mom, leave me." And no, Mom can leave the kid. And I've got a broken arm. I couldn't lift him. I couldn't move him.
His mom, Shelley, telling an Australian news organization she drove to get help from firefighters.
When the fire department brought me back, his cottage was burnt to the ground.
At least 2 victims tried to protect their homes from flames, where they raised families and lived for decades, like Victor Shaw and Rodney Kent Nickerson.
Great person, funny, the life of the party, and love people. Very intelligent man, loved to read.
And there's Randy Meode, a Malibu surfer who lived along the Pacific Coast Highway in his well-known Red Crab Shack. He was found there, according to his mom, who also told NBC News his last words to her were, "Pray for the Palisades and pray for Malibu. I love you."
That was NBC's Dana Griffin reporting, and we're all praying for the people in this area.